Alrighty, guys. So this is a VoD review of Sadness's comp game on her alt laser beam. So we're going to watch it from perspective, and right now I'm going to stop and just explain. Sadness did mention to me that this first round, pretty much that it was all over the place. I think was the words she used. So I can tell right now why it was all over the place. For one, you have double sniper. Can work, if they're both good, but they're gonna have no. You guys also have no Reinhardt. You have no even if you don't have a Reinhardt, preferably a Winston would be better, or a ball over the ball. Any of the other dive tanks work better. You might be able to get some charge off the Rhine here or the ball, but you're not going to get as much as you would out of a Winston or a Reinhardt because they can get in and out. But I can see what happened here. And for another thing I noticed is you have a Mercy Zen. Great healers. Zen can push that damage orb on somebody, but I can see why this first round was so chaotic. And I think you mentioned that you did lose this round. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, you're doing pretty good. Again, this is not going to be a call. If you guys do lose this round, I can see why. It's a good shield, but the ball didn't benefit. You didn't get benefit from it. So the one thing I will stress to you here right now, just looking at it, you used your personal without actually pressing forward. So if you're going to use your personal, always make sure you're pushing into the enemy. Just so that if the Rhine does swing, you're gonna get some charge, or if you're gonna get shot, you're gonna get some charge. You don't want to use your personal and just stand back. You want to push forward. That's the first thing I noticed there. Always make sure you're trying to push forward when you use your personal. Okay. Other than that, you're doing good. Your DPS seem to be doing okay as well. I don't know, I'm not really sure, but and your heal, you're in a decent position because you got the wall to your left, and you got your healer behind the wall. You can push in and push out as needed. So right here, this is one of those things where I would suggest as a Zarya player, I'm gonna try to not pause as much because I do want to get through this. As a Zarya player, again, you don't want to push in. It's just much like ball. You don't want to push in unless you have your personal shield. That does not mean back up. It does mean push forward if you don't have it, as long as you have charge. A charged Zarya is going to be a lot more effective at melting at the enemy than you would actually a lot of people believe. So I would for almost 100% of the time, if I'm above 55 to 60% charge, I'm going to go in there. Now right here, so right there you were sitting back. I don't know what was going on there, but your team was forward, so you should have been pressing a little bit up with your team just to help them out. Other than that, that was pretty good. So just remember, with the Zarya, you're always going to want to play with your team because you want to get that charge. You always want to play up in the enemy's face if you can get that charge high. You're sitting at 0 for quite a while, and that's not your fault. Again, you don't have a Rhine, so you can't actually combo it with it. With a Rhine, you're just going to get charged really quickly. It's just you've probably seen it in games where you have a Rhine. You're usually always above 40% charge, which is great. So you always want to make sure you're playing with your team and you're bubbling who needs it. So right here, this is where nobody's pushing forward, but I know there's a Widow trying to snipe our Widow. I'd probably bubble our Widow so our Widow doesn't have to worry about having to move. That's just what I would do in this situation. But at the same time, you're doing okay. Where you are is a good position. However, you got to make sure you're wary of your surroundings and always make sure you have a team to follow you with. So that's a good bubble, great bubble. You got your full 40 off that. Remember, you can only get 40 per charge per bubble. Great, good Bob. Actually, that was a really good all-around alting from the team. Remember, you still good aim. So one thing. So right here, another thing that was really good aiming too. You reposition your laser to actually be on the target that you wanted and the one that's in front of your face. You want to make sure you're doing that constantly. Is try to. One other thing I could suggest is always the left click right click combo. When you're you always want to be left click right clicking. So this right here. So what you just did is actually one of those mistakes that I tend to do. You have no charge and you just separated yourself from your team. So to get an idea of what you just did. So when you backed up over here, your team's over here on point. You have no one over here with you. So if they actually, like, if this team actually pushed you, you would have died. So always make sure you're always on the same side with your team, or you always have a way to escape. This is a good way to escape, but backing up here is not a good way. Like, this right here is not a good place to escape. You're probably not going to get away. So if they do push you, I don't know if they do, but just make sure if they do put, you know, where you are, you're always in a position to where you can get back. So they shattered you. That's a good trans. You have grav. That's a good grab. That's a really good. That actually is a really good grab. However, you didn't have anybody who could follow up on it. And this is what I was saying when, you know, you don't have, you know, a Reinhardt, or you don't have a DPS combo that's actually able to punish. You're not going to be able to follow up on the grabs. Otherwise, that was like an amazing grab. You made sure the Diva used her Matrix first. You made sure that she was almost demeched, and actually almost got demeched, but she got healed. But yeah, otherwise that was a really good grade. That was a really good grab. That was like a 9 out of 10 grab. So another thing that I remember is with ball or any other. So this is another thing is, so you have a Sombra, you can't actually shield yourself. So they have a Sombra. It's gonna cause problems. Good. That's a good shield. Again, you are out of position. And you're probably gonna die here. Oh no, you got away. That's good. So this is where I'd go and try to help my Widow, but your Widow's probably gonna die. Yeah, your Widow does get taken out. Okay, that's good. Focusing that ammo. That's really good. Really good charge. You're really high charge right now. So I don't know how your voice is right now in voice, but if you were in voice right now, you would be telling your healers you're at 80 plus charge and you need to be pocketed. That's not saying pocket you exclusively. It's just saying that this is where they should be keeping you up. Like, I'm 100%, I'm 100 charge or 80 charge. Keep me up, because you're gonna do a lot more. Now, again, that's not you, but this is what I say about allies. Actually, anyone, overcommitting ults. That Bob could have been saved for this next push, and could have held the next push. All right, actually, you told me that you like this was a chaotic round. Like, you actually won this round with the chaotic comp. So like you actually did really good. Like, that's actually really good. All in all, your Zarya play on that map alone was probably like an 8 out of 10 for your comp. You were using your shields effectively, using your personal bubbles effectively. There wasn't really many mistakes that you made, other than, like, a couple times where you got out of position, or you used your personal without actually pressing forward. But again, you don't have a Ryan, so you're gonna want to be making sure that you stick around and help out your team as best as you can by bubbling other pair targets other than the ball. You don't always have to bubble your other tank. You can always you can use it on your Mercy to help her get a res off. You can use it on the Zen to keep him from dying. You can bubble a Bob to stop a sleep dart. Just different things that you can do to help out your team is gonna benefit you in general. Um, so I think this is one of the maps that I think you do lose, just judging by the time frame. So other than that, I'm not gonna really say much. Like, you're doing really well. You're bubbling who needs to be bubbled. You're targeting. You're focusing the proper targets. Now, this is where you're gonna make a mistake here. that Lucio. So just to stop you right there, don't ever with a Lucio, don't ever back yourself over here. This Lucio will boop you off if he has the boop. Just make sure that when you're playing on this point, especially this point, because Lucio is boops can send you flying if you're not a Reinhardt. You want to be playing within the circle, and even if you have to back up towards your spawn. So you want to back up over here preferably, or here preferably. Just to be on, it's not a mistake, so to speak, because they didn't capitalize on it, but he could have knocked you off, causing you to be out of the fight for about 17 seconds. I think it's about, no, not about 17 seconds. Maybe, so he could have booped you off, you would have died within about 2 seconds, and you would have had your 10-second respawn timer. Yeah, about 17 seconds exactly to get back to point. So that's 17 seconds without the Zarya. So you don't want to be getting booped off maps simply because it hurts your team. It forces a longer respawn time. It forces you to be out of the fight a lot longer. If you're gonna die, always make sure you're trying to die on point, even if you don't have the point. You can get a pick or two, or you can pressure them. Right now, your team is pretty even. But again, I want to get back into it because I don't want to be pausing too much. But other than that, you're doing pretty good. Like, just positioning is the biggest thing I could say. So you're getting revived here. That's great. I don't know. Yeah, you got revived. All right, you guys are actually up. You're doing down. All right, so another thing I would have suggested there is, you knew your Zen was trying to back up. You can most likely, you usually can see him, and you can see the fact that he's being, he's running back. I would have actually went and helped my Zen out here and went down and actually bubbled him to save him from dying, because now he's out for another 10 seconds. That's 10 seconds, of time where it's going to be, they have 10 extra seconds on that point, because you cannot push with only one healer, especially a Mercy. So you should always try to help out your healers as best as you can. In that situation, you were actually available to help him out, but you went right instead of going down. So I would suggest trying to get a little bit more vision on the map or in the game in general, and just trying to make sure you're envisioning what you need to wear and who is getting attacked at all times. That's the best way I could suggest. Other than that, you're doing really well so far. You're doing really good as Zarya. I don't really have many, complaints or mistakes that you've made, other than a couple here and there, which is very good. Again, you're playing with a really weird comp. This is one of those comps where I would be like, yeah, no, and I would have requested. So this is where, so you're playing very focused, so to speak, I would say. So you guys have the point. Okay, so that's a wasted hammer, which is really good. The McCree's there. McCree dies. Other than that, so you go to push him. The Tracer's still above. Again, really good use of right clicking instead of just left clicking. I will say that. All right, good use of your personal. However, you don't have a shield tank and your team is backing up, so you want to back up. Good. That's good. So right here, this is where you should have just been spraying at the diva, and you probably should have bubbled your Mercy. Um, all right, good holding of your ult. A lot of people in that situation would have hit their Q. But yeah, good holding of the ult. I'm gonna skip around 20 seconds. Oh wait, let me bring it back 20 seconds. So here you go. Yep. You're coming back. You're taking the under. You're taking downstairs, which is really good. All right, so that's really good. You guys took it back with a couple ults. You have High Noon and Grab, which is really good. Really two good ultimates. Now, how you use this is all up to you here, and how the McCree uses their ult. So this is where I would shield the McCree, but he dies. I would actually probably have grabbed that bottom point, like right there. Yeah, I would have grabbed that probably. I would have grabbed right there. Simply because they're pushing you up there. Their Diva's not with them. Okay, so this is another thing I want to just point out in general. That was one of your probably last fights. Now, I think you... I don't know if you get another fight out of it. I don't think you do, so you probably should have grabbed. So like I said, I would have grabbed onto... I would have grabbed almost instantly. And like, right here, I would have grabbed. Right here. Like, right there, I would have grabbed. No. See, I would have grabbed coming up. Simply because you would have gotten the grab off. The Diva wasn't even, like, focused on you. Alright, so we're going to skip ahead. I'm going to pause right here. So, again, you kind of you're holding in. Another thing I'm going to stress to people is don't hold your alts. That's to you. That's to a lot of your team. A lot of your team are holding alts. You want to just press Q when you think it's the most valuable. Like on that push they were doing when they were all at the top there at one point, and you knew they were there. That grab would have been invaluable because that grab would have pulled all of them into one area, and all of us, that McCree could have gotten like 2 or 3 kills with his high noon. Make sure you're not just, again, bubbling only your ball. You want to be bubbling your healers as well, or your other DPS, just to help them out, because bubbling them is going to benefit you a lot more than bubbling your ball who's not giving you as much value. Keeping your DPS alive to help out is a lot more beneficial than keeping a ball up that's just literally at the moment gonna die and give them charge. So like right there, that would be a good one if the Reaper moved in a little bit further. So they used Immo again. So when Immo is down, this is where you would want to push in. So again, bubbling yourself only when you are going to push in. Very decent tracking. You're not stuttering, if that's is the best way I can put it. You're actually like properly tracking as best as you can. Again, that comes with just playing more tracking, and it also comes with I'm not even being funny here. Getting a better monitor will help you track a little bit better too. Again, I can't hear comms, and if I could, I'd probably turn them off. To be honest, they're quite annoying when you are trying to review a video. So McCree is behind you, trying to kill you. So, good push. Your Mercy's with you, but he backs up. So, all right, good use of personal. Reinhardt is very low. Good moving out of that bomb. So someone's on point still. You know what? That's not okay. So again, you held your grab. I would have put, especially okay. So let's just go back a few seconds here before that diva even pushed in. All right, let's go all the way before you popped your ult. So right here, okay. Let's just say we'll play from right here. Okay, let's go 20 seconds forward. Okay, so you back up here. You're at 90%. Your grab, I believe, if I recall correctly, grab lasts for about. I want to say I think I recall it's like 8 seconds or so, or 6 seconds or something like that. I would have grabbed right there, like right there. I would have grabbed that point. You're at 2 seconds left, three. I would have grabbed the point, not right here, because Diva already moved in. You kind of should have grabbed while they were up there, right at that choke. But other than that, you're doing decent. Again, not many complaints, not many mistakes. You're doing okay. Um, Again, like in the VoD review for your scrim, I mentioned that you can just tell when you're not comfortable on a hero, and I can feel like you're comfortable on Zarya, but you're not comfortable with her ult. You don't know when to ult. You don't you're afraid to ult sometimes. I can see it in the way you're hitting Q. Now see, this is where you okay. This is not, okay. So that's a mistake. What you just did. So jumping off to go into a lost fight is a mistake. You should have just stayed back. They've already got the point. You have 100 seconds before they can take the point anyways. You should have just backed up and relaxed and waited for your team to come back to push in again. Other than that, that's the only mistake on that one. So you and Reaper have both made that mistake. You guys are out of position. You have no healers. And you're dealing with now you have healers, but you didn't have healers going in. So you just want to be very careful about overextending. And this is what I'm going to stress to any tank, any player in general, is overextensions are never great, simply because they hurt you. So Immo is down again. That's a big one right there. Immo is again down again. Okay, good again. Good tracking, really good tracking. No complaints on that engagement. That engagement was just honestly, that engagement was just a little bit of a messy engagement. That was a very messy engagement, if I'm going to say. One of the most messy engagements I've actually ever seen was that engagement. It was a lot of weird usage of ults. Like why I don't know why you committed any of those ults in. Like not you, but your team. Like that was just a very messy engagement. Now this is a very another messy thing I can stress is people moving in when they shouldn't. So you're at 95%. Again, this is where you would grab. This is where you should have grabbed. Well, no, like earlier you should have grabbed behind their, like in front of their wall, so they were pushed in front of the wall. Okay, you're at 100% charge, but I don't think you have any healers here. Okay, your personal was up. You should have personaled to stay alive. Um, to be honest, all in all, sadness, that was actually not bad at all. Again, I would have. There's a couple mistakes that I pointed out, but other than that, it was pretty decent. That is literally, those are the kind of games that just really do suck because there's not much more you can do to help out. But recognizing your mistakes are going to help you out. Is a great way to help out your team. We all make mistakes. I do it. Master players do it. GM players do it. Diamond players do it. We all do it. We make mistakes at some point in the game. A few mistakes here and there aren't bad, but some mistakes can hurt the team. So the big mistake is holding ultimates too long. Like again, if you're not sure when to ult, the best way to make sure when to ult is when they're, especially if they have a diva, is when the diva is not mech'd or the diva is not even near you. Never ult when the diva is actually charging to you, because that is actually what a lot of diva players and myself as a Zarya player like main call a diva. It's like a bait. The diva does have defense matrix, and she's way hoping you would hit Q when she turns around and she's gonna eat it. Remember, your cast time on that thing has to hit the ground or hit something to be casted. Diva only has to look at it once to eat it. All it has to do is cross in that defense matrix, and she's removed the grab from the game. Um, Another way to grab, another thing is you can grab around walls. Don't be afraid to grab um, a corner simply because there's only 3 people there. You don't need to get 5 people. You only need to get 1 or 2, and 1 or 2 picks is going to help you out a lot better than getting all 5 of them and getting no picks. So just remember, when you are grabbing, always look for the prime picks, but don't look for a 5 grab. The only time you'd ever look for a 5 grab or a huge grab, like 4 people or more, 3 or 4 or more people, is when you have a Hanzo. That's when you kind of want to try to combo your grab, simply because the Hanzo can punish the whole entire team in that grab. But otherwise, you don't really need to get more than 1 or 2 people in a grab. 1 or 2 people in a grab is going to benefit the team in general a lot more than 4 people that you get no picks on. Prime targets for grabs are Reinhardt's. To stop them from actually shielding. When a Baptiste ults is another great one, is just put it right in front of his ult, so you pull them all through his ult, so they don't even get the benefit of the damage. It's a great way to stall as well. Putting it on walls is a great way to stop a DPS. You can also, I don't suggest it, but you can solo grab, a Reaper. You can solo grab a Pharah. You can solo grab a Reinhardt. You can solo grab a Nanode. Genji. You can do all. I don't suggest in solo grabbing non-nano targets. Always try to solo grab a nano target, especially a Genji, because a Genji can destroy your backline. If you can catch the Genji in your ultimate, you're gonna stop him from using that Dragon Blade, because the Dragon Blade is the exact same time frame as the grab. So if you can grab him, and I think Dragon Blade lasts for 8 seconds and grab lasts for 6, so he's only got 2 seconds. And by the time he jumps up in the air, Dragon Blade gets nano, comes down, and you grabbed him, he's only got 1 second left, and he's got about 2 seconds left to grab of nano after that. So always make sure you're going for the prime targets. Don't just go for a 5-man or a 6-man or a 4-man. You only need 1 or 2 in a grab. Make sure when you're using personals, you're pushing forward when you use a personal, and if your personal's off cooldown and you're in a team fight, use it again. When you're using your friendly bubbles, your E, make sure you're not just you're using it on allies as well. You don't have to just use it on your other tank. You can use them on your healers. You can use them on your DPS. You can use them to stop somebody dying from a diva bomb. They're great that way. So like on that point when Diva bombed your back and Zen was pushed out by himself, you could have bubbled Zen and then hid behind that pillar, stopping Zen from dying, and there you would have had another healer on top of what you already had. When a Mercy's rezzing, use your bubble to help out that Mercy to save him, to save the Mercy from dying. So just knowing when to use it and how to use them are going to help you out a lot with those bubbles. Same with the grab. Best thing I could suggest is left click, right click. When you're in a team fight and you got 2 or 3 more people with you fighting in front of you, you might want to do a right click, right click, right click. When they're in a grab, right click, right click. Because there's multiple targets that are going to get hit. Other than that, like, you did pretty good. Like, all in all, I would say a 7.5 out of 10 stars of how well you played. Like, again, it was chaotic. You had a very weird, strange comp. There's not much you can do to change a comp other than asking the other tank to swap. And 90% of the time, especially in gold and plat, you're going to get a tank that says, no, I'm not swapping. How about you swap? Or, you're going to get attitude. Same with your healers. You gotta, your healers should have swapped and swapped something more. Like, again, if you're gonna play a Mercy or a Zen, a Lucio always benefits more with those two, because then there's AoE healing, whereas it's just single target healing, you're not gonna get the same healing out of it. But again, all in all, Sadness, great game. 7.5 out of 10 stars. If you have any more questions and you want me to answer them, and I didn't cover them, or you didn't cover certain questions you wanted answered in this video, please feel free to message me on Discord or leave a comment in the video. And I will, get back to it as soon as possible, because I know that people are trying to learn new heroes, and if you have questions, feel free to ask me them, because again, this is my main. Like, I love this girl when I'm playing her. So if you ever have a question about Zarya, I'm more than happy to answer them for you. And if you're uncomfortable with certain things, or you're not knowing when to, you can always ask me on the side on another day where we're not practicing, where I can actually come and sit with you and talk with you about different ways of using your ultimate and how to use those ultimates. But anyways, have yourself a great night, guys, and anybody who's watching the video, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe. Later.